All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Chris's Sports Corner. Real quick, man. Hope everybody's having a great Monday, man. Let me get some things pulled up here. Monday. It's been a Monday. Mama said it'd be days like these, right? But at the end of the day, man, we just gotta push through. And today has been one of those days for me. But no matter what, it's the bad time to make the good time feel so good. And at the end of the day, it's just how life goes. So we ain't gonna hold on no more, man. Let's get right into it. So I gotta bear with me because I got quite a few videos coming out. I'm a little behind. So if you see like a influx of videos from me, it's because I'm behind because life, yeah. But one interesting part, so I did a video about the signing of, you guys might have said, no, I can't say his name, but the latest signing, somebody broke that down for me really good too. But I just ain't had the time to really sit there and try to learn his name, but I will. But it was an interesting dynamic that's going on now. So if in the NFL, training camp battles, you like, oh, is this person gonna make it? Is that person? You don't see much of that in the NBA. You kind of know how the roster's gonna fill out and whatever. Well, the Raptors got some decisions to make, man. Because they got a little camp battle, and shout out to Fan Nation, all Raptors. They actually broke this thing down in this article, man. So rather than me sit here and just blabber about it, let me give you some definitive information. So it's titled Watanabe, Gillespie, Dekker, Bonga, and Wainwright will have a tough battle for the final cuts. It says, for the better part of the last decade, the Raptors have been known for their strength in numbers. They rarely had the best player on the court, save for Kawhi Leonard in 2019, but they often had bench depth few teams could contend with. That's true. That's true, because if you remember, one thing I always said is that no matter who came on the court, they was gonna fit and they was gonna play hard, and so their team has always been a very deep team. And they go on to name like the Pascal, Siakam, Steady Freddie, Norman Powell, Wright, Jacob, CJ Miles, Terrence Ross, just quality bench players that they had. Now last year it seemed like that was a problem. Like felt like they was missing a little bit of the bench depth. And they touched that on this article. They said then last season, in the year where the bench player proved to be more valuable than ever, Toronto depth seemed to evaporate. Nick Nurse tinkered with things all season, trying Matt Thomas for a brief stretch, then Ben Breed, then Stanley Johnson, Watanabe, Watson Jr., on and on. The article literally said it was a mess. Nurse was never able to find a perfect mix en route to a disastrous 27-45 season. Let me get some more here. All right. They say the Raptors are looking forward to shaking things up this summer. They've almost completely rebuilt their bench with young, versatile, and intriguing prospects. The departing group has been replaced by Precious. Shout out Precious. Dragic. We'll see what happened there. The recently signed Civi, how do you say his last name? I know somebody to show me. I'm going to learn it. Forgive me right now. Who will be joined by some combination of Isaac Bonga, Sam Dekker, Wainwright, and the returning Freddie Gillespie, as well as Watanabe, who will be fighting for the final 3 spots. Now, this is big, man, because I know Watanabe for a while was like a fan favorite, and then he got dunked on, and it felt like he disappeared after that for a while. Then you got Gillespie, who I've been fond of him too. Wainwright, Dekker, Bonga. So you got a real battle that's happening for that position, and for me, honestly, man, looking at it, I like how this. I really got to give this article a shout out because they kind of broke it down, right? And I'm gonna go a little bit by each player. Say Watanabe, 27-year-old Watanabe, seems the most likely of this group to crack Toronto final roster. He played the most NBA minutes of last season of anyone trying to make the roster and showed the kind of skill Nurse is always looking for. He's a versatile, smart defender who showed some shooting skill last season when he was healthy, and if he can be a little bit more decisive on the offense, there will likely be minutes in the rotation for him this season. So I agree with that part. Watanabe do got a leg up. I think he got a leg up. He's familiar with the offense. He know what the team is what they want from, what they expect from. So he's one of those guys that's just gonna get in there, and play and kind of work on. He don't got to impress the coach as much as the others, because the coach kind of know what they get. He just got to take his game to the next level. So he know personally. So he to me, he kind of got he's the favorite out of everyone, in my opinion. Sam Dekker, the former 2015 first round pick, is coming from Toronto after 2 seasons overseas. He had 15 points per game in the Turkish league last year while shooting 45% from the 3-point range. His shooting will be his make or break skill with the Raptors. Toronto certainly could use some more floor space, and Dekker has recently shown he can be that kind of scorer. The addition of Mike Kahula, that guy could complicate things a little bit, but if Dekker can shoot and defend adequately, there should be a spot for him on the roster. Boom. Dekker. All right, so Dekker's a 3-point shooter. Flat out what he does, and he can add you some spaces. But the recent signing of the name I can't pronounce, Dekker kind of adds. They kind of play the same game, but if you look at it, Dekker was 45% from 3, where last year I think he was 33. Savi, whatever. He was like 36% last year, if I'm not mistaken. So if Dekker could continue, now that was in the Turkish league, if he could continue to shoot like that, it could bring a little trouble. All right, Wainwright. Wainwright, the 26-year-old Wainwright is another overseas product who fits the mold of Toronto as a savvy defender and high character person. Without much of a 3-point shooter, Wainwright must be a little too similar to everyone else on the roster. He's 6'6", can defend multiple positions, is in high effort player, but Toronto have bunch of players who fits that bill too. If Toronto really wants to go all in, versatile defense, keeping Wainwright over Dekker makes sense. Otherwise, it might be tough for Wainwright to stand out. I agree. It will be tough for Wainwright to stand out. That he's a hustle guy. And the thing about the hustle players, they stand out when there's not a team full of hustle players. Well, unfortunately, the Raptors is built that way, so everyone plays like that. So he can fit in, or if that's all he can bring, he's not gonna stand out. So, and lastly, Isaac Bonga. Now, Isaac Bonga, the 21-year, is the biggest wild card in this group for the Raptors. He's an upside player for Toronto, who's 6'8", 7-foot wingspan. The kind of skills to do a little bit of everything. He's 3 years in the NBA, hasn't shown very much to get excited about, but Toronto developmental program have found diamonds in the rough before. His spot on the roster is simply going to come down to whatever Toronto sees him in the long term. If there's some untapped potential, he's stick around. Otherwise, he doesn't project as the kind of player to help the Raptors too much this season. So, if you ask me, he's out of there. He's out of there. Bonga, I don't think he's gonna crack it. That's just me. Personally, I could be wrong. Gillespie is one of the few returning bench players for the Raptors heading into the training camp, and that it should give him a leg up over the competition. He knows what Nick Nurse is looking for and was very impressive enough last year to get invited back to camp this season. Gillespie, however, did not look very good in the summer league. He's going on 11 points in 5 games while shooting 5 of 22 from the field. While Toronto could certainly use his rebounding size, he is no longer a lock to make the roster, especially if his offensive woes continue. Boom. There we go. Sorry if that's a little fast, guys, but I didn't want to drag those names. I kind of want to give you a gist of all of them. If you ask my pick that I think will make it, I'm going to go Watanabe is going to make it, Dekker is going to make it, and Gillespie. So that was the ones I think going to make it. I think Wainwright and Bonga is going to be on the outside looking in. But so that's my pick, man. That's what I think is going to make it. But that battle is going to be an intense one. But this is not including injuries. This is not including things that could throw this out, throw this up in the air. But they got an interesting camp battle. It's going to be fun in camp because it's some guys that rightfully deserve it, but nothing is given. They're going to have to prove themselves. So with that being said, guys, please like, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, man, you guys be great.